Let's go.
Yeah, him and Marley.
Just
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regular meeting. We're starting about 7 minutes late tonight because we had a huge planning project meeting that kicked off at a little bit before 6. And if you haven't seen the packet, it will be on our website, and it is a thorough overview of all the projects that are ongoing in our community. And I mean, it's an excellent, comprehensive report that really has a lot of information in it. Before I call the meeting to order tonight, 2 of our commissioners are not with us tonight. Commissioner Marley is at his job in Hope County. He is doing some comprehensive briefing on some after-action reviews from Tropical Storm Debbie. So that is where he is tonight. Commissioner Legg is resting at home with his family. So that's where he is. So I just wanted to touch base a little bit with both our commissioners of why they're not in attendance. And we'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for invocation from Pastor Michael Mathis, and please stand remaining for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh God, once again, we acknowledge your sovereignty, your divine sovereignty, and we are so grateful for your loving kindness and how you are willing to be involved in affairs of man as the agenda is carried out this evening. We thank you, God, and we understand how frail we are, and we ask that you would remove anything that would be a hindrance or prevent the town of Hope Mills from continuing to progress in the way that we're progressing now. We thank you for that, Lord, for your favor. We are always so very grateful for the leadership. We thank you for how you continue to wrap a hedge of protection in your loving arms around our mayor as he leads the council, all of the council here tonight that are assisting him. We're always so especially grateful also for our first responders, God, and how they are willing to put their lives in harm's way to protect the residents and others here in the town of Hope Mills. We thank you for them, God. You be their eyes behind their head. We ask, God, that you would continue to encourage them, Lord, as they put their lives in harm's way, notwithstanding the fact that when there are fires and other emergency things going on, we have the fire department and all the volunteers, God. We're just so grateful for what you're doing in this time and this season in the town of Hope Mills and how you're bringing about unity. Only you can do that, God. And now, Lord, the agenda has been set. We ask, God, that you would help us to have respect for one another and carry out the things, God, that you have put to the mayor's hands. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Additions or deletions?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I would like to add, which now will be item 8, closed session pursuant to NCGS 143A3 to consult with attorney on matters within the attorney-client privilege. And also, we would like to remove item F from the consent agenda, and now that will now be new business under item F under new business. I think that's it.
Okay, we have a motion to add closed session as item 8 on the agenda. And on the consent agenda, will we be moving item F to new business, and that will become item F. Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Official comments, we kick off with the manager's report, which will be a continuation of the projects brief that we just heard for about a little over an hour. Go ahead, Jan.
So this one is geared towards emergency services and hurricanes. So in the community corner, we want to bring the light to the September 11th tribute that we have scheduled for September 11th out at the plaza. Please join us at 8:30 a.m. National Night Out is tomorrow, 6 p.m. We still doing the dunk tank. Commissioner Scarola will be in the dunk tank. Our fall litter sweep events begin on the 14th of September. I want to acknowledge our police officers. They did their coffee with the cop at Cumberland Coffee Roasters recently. We have a community resources fair free event coming up on the 14th. We have another food distribution partnering with Second Harvest Food Bank on the 7th from 9 to 12 here at Town Hall in the parking lot over by the basketball courts. This is free to the general public. It is a drive-through event. Last time we did it 2 months ago, we had about 500 cars, but anybody that comes out there, no questions asked. You'll get about 2 to 3 weeks worth of groceries, ranging from produce to packs of chicken, things of that nature. But people usually start lining up about 7, but we'll be out there volunteering from 9 to 12. The second page of the manager's report highlights the Town of Hope Mills storm preparation guide. It's on our website. You know, we just got hit with this hurricane, but there's a lot of information on here that provides information on how to make an emergency safety kit, the proper storage of water for long periods of time, how to use a generator. A lot of people don't realize, please don't put that in your garage with the door closed. But it's a lot of information. It's about 20 to 25 pages, but it shares how to prepare your home, what to do after the actual storm, and it's on our website. But the second page of the manager's report does highlight that, how to tell the difference between the types of hurricanes and the categories and things of that nature. The third page is about the Hope Mills Dam. We know how scary it looks when that water is at the top of that dam, but we also internally know it's fine. It is designed to work in that manner. We put out a series, and I'll get a little bit more detail when we do the emergency preparation topic later in the agenda, but we sent out a series of press releases talking about why we were not lowering the levels of the lake. The way this dam is constructed, it's a weir type dam, and it's not constructed to deal with massive increases of water on a short period of time. That's actually when you're compromising the integrity of the dam. If you look on the side of the dam, there are these two pits. They're called emergency spillways. Right when you saw that water filling up to the top of the dam, you started seeing the spillways fill up. That's how it was designed. It looks terrifying, but it's meant to work that way. And you saw our mayor out there saying it is working like it was designed to work. Well, this provides you with the fact that this is an award-winning dam. We have 100% pass rate. We've got 3 awards with this dam, national awards, but it provides information on the fact that our public works staff monitors and maintains that dam on a regular basis with Snovel Engineering, who was the engineering firm that built it. And so it's just, this manager's report is really geared toward just providing people with some useful information, because this stuff does get a little scary during hurricanes, and you want to at least be able to know that you're okay. And so that's what we're doing. The last page of the manager's report is still the active NCDLT projects that are happening around town, but it does provide the let dates and construction dates, start date, completion dates as well. These will go on our town Hope Mills government page on social media and our website on tomorrow. Feel free to contact my office if you have any questions. That does conclude the manager's report.
Okay, thank you, Chancellor.
Oh, if I can borrow about 3 more minutes of your time. I want to acknowledge our fire department for a quick second. And I'm gonna read a press release that we just released. The state fire marshal has completed their routine inspection of the Hope Mills Fire Department for the ISO, which is the Insurance Services Office fire rating. The inspection conducted by the officials with the Office of State Fire Marshal is required on a regular basis as part of the North Carolina Response Rating System. The routine inspections identify possible issues with proper staffing levels, sufficient equipment, proper maintenance of equipment, communications capabilities, and availability of a water source, among other things. The rating system ranges from 1 being the highest to 10 being not recognized as a certified department in your district. While lower ratings do not necessarily indicate poor service, a higher rating does suggest that a department is overall better equipped to respond to fires and emergencies in its district. The reason why it's called the ISO, a lot of people may not realize this is directly related to your homeowner's insurance policies. If we have a very poor ISO rating, your insurance premiums will go up on your revenue. At the conclusion of the inspection, the Hope Mills Fire Department has received an ISO rating of 2 out of 10 for the Hope Mills Municipal District effective October 1, 2024. And I want to highlight this. We've maintained a 2 for about 10 years. We missed the highest rating by 0.014%. So I can guarantee you today, in 5 years, when they do this again, we're going to get a 1 for the first time in the history of Hope Mills. But I want to acknowledge our fire department. A lot of times with these hurricanes, people don't realize the people who are leaving their families at home to spend the night in the ELC, to spend 4 days. If you looked at that dam, I don't care what time of the morning it was, Don Cisco was down at that dam. And so we try to educate, because you hear first responders and you think police and fire. During a hurricane, your first responders is your public works department, because that's who's barricading off those streets. That's who's maintaining that dam. And while the dam looked like it was going to overturn, Don is texting me, we just receded 1 inch. The water was going down at the time that you thought that the dam was about to topple. And that's a tribute to our staff. I'll get a little bit more into details about what they did during the hurricane, but I did not want to let the opportunity pass my manager's report to acknowledge our fire department. I'd like for them to get a round of applause.
Thank you, Chancellor. Board comments, I will start with Commissioner Corolla.
It is so good to see so many people here. Hopefully this happens more often. But,
Well, if there's another flood, it will.
say again?
If there's another flood, it will.
But it's good to see everyone here tonight, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay? Commissioner Craver?
Just thank you all for coming, and I hope you'll get all of your answers or to your questions answered from us.
Okay? Mayor Pro Tem Dr. McCray.
Again, thank you for everybody for coming out tonight. Actually, Chancellor, before you thanked all of our staff for the work that they did during the hurricane, I was going to extend my gratitude to you all. And it was just not police and fire, which are very, very important, but it was several staff members that worked around the clock. As you all know, we had a lot of rain, as we did with Hurricane Matthew before the hurricane. We had rain during the hurricane, and then we had rain. It was 4 inches of rain in 2 hours that next Monday in Hope Mills. So, in a matter of 2 hours. So I appreciate all of the work that you all did during the hurricane, and also a big congratulations again to our 10-year-old softball players who won the World Series and were just celebrated on last week. And that's all that I have.
Thank you, Dr. McCray. Well, it's been an interesting last couple of weeks. We had a lot of weather events. Tropical Storm Debbie came through and reminded us that a lot of rain can result in a lot of flooding. And that was one of the key safety issues in our community, was the flooding from Debbie. And then we got a surprise storm on Sunday night that dropped, 4 inches of rain.
4.3 in 2 hours, which is about the equivalent we got over the previous 3 days. And so you got to realize the ground was saturated before Debbie got here. Debbie dumped a couple inches on us, and then on Sunday, everybody's like, "What in the world is going on?" The hurricane's gone, and we got 4.3 inches in 2 hours.
It all centered in one central neighborhood.
Yep.
It seemed like it just picked one location and said, the clouds will empty, and it will empty on Hallwood Drive.
Yes, sir.
And that's exactly what happened Sunday night. No warning, no heads up, no, I'm coming and I'm going to pick this neighborhood. It just didn't happen.
This little guy said to me and Grandpa, "Grandma, we have water in our house." By the time we stood up to check it out, we were walking in water. Yeah, that was me. We stayed in a hotel Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Pulled all the carpets out of our house.
Okay, thank you. When a storm comes to a community, being prepared, that's the whole key. Because there's a saying that goes around that says, luck is the result of preparedness. It is. And if you're prepared as a community, and we are so blessed in this community that we have exceptional services provided by this town. All day on Thursday when Debbie was here, our town staff was actively working, not only monitoring the dam, but monitoring all the bridges in Hope Mills. Because the water was running, but we've got downstream flooding that could have happened, especially out of the dam. On that Friday morning, when staff came back to work, they were very actively engaged in looking at every part of the community as a result of the tropical storm Friday. The assessment piece. What did we do right? What didn't we do so right? What are the challenges? Because that's part of the preparedness. There's a discussion tonight about preparedness. There will be a guide that we'll be posting as well for the town. I don't want to get into too much of that, but that's coming up on an agenda item tonight. I don't think the big one's come yet. I hope it doesn't come. I really do. I hope the big one being a hurricane, I hope that It doesn't come at all. But we always have to be vigilant and prepared. Something else we did this past week, we held a community forum over in the rec center for community input on a project that we're looking at building, a senior citizen center, community center. And it was well attended. We've got another one coming up in October. There's a portal open on the town website for any resident that would like to render and send in any comments or suggestions toward the center. It is a priority that we want to put in place, and the public engagement is key to how that project's going to look when it's built. So I wanted to kind of share that a little bit tonight. Okay, other than that, the last thing I have is manager's report. I'm going to hold it up again. This is now on 5 pages. It continues to get longer every week. And that's a good thing because of the transparency and because of the information to our community. So with that, that's going to close off official comments. We'll go into presentations. Logan Mills Police Department swearing in of police officers. And I think we have 3. If our police chief would bring those 3 forward, we'll do the swearing in right here in front.
So, Mayor and Board, we have 3 tonight, like you mentioned. Our first one is going to be, and I'll just give you a brief bio on them, and then we'll bring them all up and do the swearing in at one time, right? So the first one is Officer Natalie Swartz. She's here tonight with her husband Marcus and her son Adrian. Natalie was a Washington, D.C. police officer before coming to the Hope Mills, and she holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of California in Riverside. Our next officer is Alexis Molina. She's here tonight with her fiance, Joseph Carpio, and her son, Jace, and as well as her mom and dad, Liliana and George Molina. And she comes from to us from the Fayetteville Police Department, where she served for 2.5 years, so we're glad to have her. And then our final officer is Eric Martin, and he is here tonight with his mom, Myrtle, and father Brian Martin, and his brother Anthony Martin, and his girlfriend Jocelyn Ingram. And he just graduated BLET recently. We picked him up and hired him from there. So we're glad to have all 3 of them.
Excellent, excellent. Okay.
Bring them up.
Bring them up.
Bring them up.
Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to read the oath for these 3 officers. Okay, so the family members can take pictures. And then after I read the oath, would like the family members to come up and stand with the officers for additional pictures. Okay? So, you good? All right. So I'm going to read the oath. When I say I state your name, the individual say. Okay? Then we'll go from there. Oath of office. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will be alert and vigilant. To enforce the criminal laws. Of this state. That I will not be. Influenced. In any manner. On account. Of bias or prejudice. That I will support. And maintain. The Constitution. And laws. Of the United States. And the Constitution. And laws. Of North Carolina. Not inconsistent. Therewith. And that I will faithfully.
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a law enforcement officer
as a law enforcement officer
and a police officer
and a police officer
for the town of Oak Mill,
for the town of Oak Mills,
according
according
to the best of my skills,
to the best of my skills, abilities,
and judgment.
and judgment.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. We welcome them not to a staff position. We don't welcome them to a team. Our town is family. We welcome these 3 police officers to our family who supports and delivers services to our community because we're a family-based community. So that's what we welcome them tonight. And would you please bring up your family members before the chief gives you the gavel. If anybody wants to take any pictures, please come up and do it. There you go. See? Sam. Sam.
Mitch is coming up to do some too.
Okay. All right, Chief, you want to hand out the code of ethics? Each officer will hold that up and then we'll take a picture. Makes it official, right there. Yeah. Makes it official. Okay. Once, twice. One. Good? All right. Welcome to the family.
Oh, wait. I know. Here, make yourself easy. All 3 of them. Hurry up.
Where you going?
I need them to shine their own.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is a proclamation recognizing the 23rd anniversary of September 11th. I'll read the proclamation. Office of the Mayor, Town of Oak Mills, North Carolina, proclamation in observance of the 23rd anniversary of September 11th, 2001, attacks on America. We hereby adopt the following proclamation in tribute to those lost and injured on 9/11. and the many who gave themselves in service to their communities in this country in the aftermath of the attacks. Whereas people of all ages and walks of life across America and around the world collectively witnessed an event of immense tragedy on September 11, 2001. And whereas September 11, 2001 will never and should never be just another day in the hearts and minds of all Americans. And whereas the Patriot Day proclamation officially and permanently designating September 11th as the National Day of Service and Remembrance, the flying of the flag of the United States at half staff, as well as community service and charitable activities in tribute and remembrance. Now, therefore, I, Jesse Bellflower, Mayor of the Town of Hope Mills, do hereby proclaim September 11th as a voluntarily day of service and remembrance. Furthermore, call upon all citizens and organizations to consider joining in this observance and engage in activities of tribute, solemn remembrance, and charitable service this 19th day of August 2024. The next proclamation is the proclamation recognizing September as the National Suicide Prevention Month, and that proclamation will be read by Commissioner Scarola.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I read this proclamation, just wanted to talk a little bit how important it is to me. For those who know me, I'm retired from the Army. I deployed multiple times. I have dealt with many of my soldiers, and I've lost friends due to suicide, and it's very, very, it's a struggle because you always question, what can I have done different? I'd just like to recognize some of my friends I have lost: Captain Hockridge, Sergeant Becknell, Sergeant Young, and Specialist Matt Wally. I served with three of them at Fort Drum, New York. One of them I served with while I was here stationed at Fort Bragg, Captain Hockridge. If there was anything I could have done, if there was anything I could have said, I wish I could have. Everyone's life is important, and everyone is it's a struggle, and I understand there's a lot going on with people's lives, but you never know what kind of conversation, if you could have stopped something from happening, you know. But I digress. So I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation. So the proclamation for National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Whereas in 2023, more than 50,000 people died by suicide in the United States.
Let me know if I can help.
One death every 11 minutes. And whereas in 2021, veteran suicides increased an additional 1.35 from the year prior. And whereas suicide is a public health challenge that causes immeasurable pain among individuals, families, and communities across the country. And whereas connecting veterans and first responders with each other, with civilians, and with their communities through a range of activities, including physical activity, community service, and disaster response efforts, promoting a stronger sense of belonging and purpose. Whereas mental health and crisis support services are critical for people showing signs of suicide risk in their thoughts or behavior, requiring involvement from the broader community to reach veterans where they live and thrive before they reach a crisis point. And whereas if you or someone you know are in crisis and experiencing difficult suicidal thoughts, call the National Hotline for Mental Health and Suicide Prevention, 988, immediately. You may also call 911. Whereas veterans and their loved ones can call the Veterans Crisis Line at 988, press number 1, chat online at veteranscrisisline.net, or send a text message to 838-255 to receive free confidential support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jesse Bellflower, as Mayor of the Town of Hope Mills, do hereby proclaim September 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2024 as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in the town of Hope Mills, encouraging all citizens to help create protective environments, promote healthy connections, and identify and support people at risk, urging anyone who is experiencing a crisis to seek help. This, the 19th day of August, 2024, signed Jesse Bellflowers, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Squirrella. As we sit here tonight, at this very moment, there is someone that's in a very dark place. And they're considering ending their life because they feel they have no one to turn to. So yes, this is a very important month, but September should not be the only month. It should be every month. Okay. It's personal to me too. There's another former commissioner, Willie Mitchell. It's personal to him, and you can see him over there on that wall. He knows exactly what we're talking about. Public comments is next on their agenda. As I call out the names on the sign-in sheets, and we have two, you'll list your name and address, however, it's not required, and the limit comments will be to 3 minutes. I'm going to extend the second list. I'm going to extend a little bit of extra time to those that just want to talk about the pickleball issue, up to give it additional time. But for the 3 speakers that we have, it'll be 3 minutes. Speakers should avoid repetition, and groups should designate a spokesperson, which I don't believe that would be necessary. Please direct comments to the full board, not an individual board member or a staff member. Although the board is interested in hearing your concerns, speakers should not expect board action, responses, or deliberation on subject matters that's brought up during the public comment segment. Topics requiring further investigation will be referred to the appropriate town officials tonight or staff and may be scheduled for a future agenda item. I just wanted to read that before we get into public comments. Our first speaker tonight is Ronald King.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilman. My name is Ronald King. I'm a retired Sergeant Major, U.S. Army, 27 years, and I live at 5566 Hallwood Drive, Hope Mills, North Carolina. I come before you today to express dire needs in resolving an issue that we've had for many, many years. I'm the first, as you were, I am the third house that was built on Hallwood Drive in 1991. And I've lived there for 35 years plus. In those 35 years plus, we've been flooded 4 times. In addition to that, the expense that has been incurred by the family members that are on that street are horrendous. We're talking about in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. This last flood that we had this past week, or on Sunday, I think it was, it didn't get in my house this time. The last time it came in to my garage. I lost my washer and dryer, lost my hot water heater, I lost my air conditioning unit, and all these things I had to replace. There were no issues in the 35 years that we were there, that I've lived there, before they built the housing development behind us. Now, you could take that as coincidental, but I think there's an issue with the sewage there on the Hallwood Drive. because it was built in 91, the requirements for the sewage lines were smaller. The new development sits on a hill. All their drainage drains down, I think, and is connected to ours some kind of way to facilitate all the water coming from a large pipe to a smaller pipe, therefore causing flooding to back up on our street only. Now, the street behind us, there's never been any flooding whatsoever. It's only on Hallwood Drive. And I would like for y'all to take a serious look at maybe doing something to either revamp the piping there, or maybe there's a blockage in the sewage. I don't know. But I do know that we have concerns, and this past week we had several individuals that be evacuated out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. Thank you for your service. Our next speaker is Kara Jordan.
Good afternoon, Mayor. We are better together. You, us, we. We're better together as we connect on the Cumberland Board of Education. I bring you greetings. My name is Dr. Tara Jordan, and I am a candidate for the Cumberland County Board of Education, District 6, which is Hope Mills area. My experience spans over 28 years in the field of education. I have taught in first grade through fifth grade, self-contained and resource classrooms within the classroom. My knowledge in the educational field will be invaluable for understanding and writing policies and procedures that would assist in molding some of the minds of our students in the future. These skill set has equipped me with useful tools essential for leadership of the board. In Cumberland County, we are privileged to have teachers, administrative, and staff members at our schools. As a board member, I will work tirelessly to ensure that we are all held to the highest standard that can be. I believe in practical, nonsense approaches to problem-solving solutions. These solutions will address problems directly and ineffectively. My topic priorities will include, but are not limited to, ensuring a safety and healthy learning environment, facilitating an open communication channel between the superintendent, the school board, the community, which is you, our panel as commissioners, focusing on programs that will support the overall well-being of our students. I know right now we're in the process, the SROs and things like that, so that is one of my focuses. That is one of the things that I will be focusing on as if I'm elected into this position. Our school boards are a safe haven for learning and are now facing new challenges. The radical change you hear about in education nationally are at our school's front door. I want our education system to encourage our children to think for themselves while respecting the rules and regulations set forth in their fellow classmates. My role will facilitate a platform that will allow everyone's voice to be heard. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. I got that from you. I will advocate for our students and will work to generate that they graduate with the skills needed to succeed in life and become outstanding members of society. Right now, we have 27 schools that are failing right here in Cumberland County. That is a problem for me. That was one of the reasons why I stepped up. I will focus on reconnecting school programs and curriculum that prepare our students for the challenges of the new digital age that we live in. The school districts has the duty of providing their services to our families and of our communities that establish an environment where students are can safely learn and grow, be allowed to explore their individuality, and have the opportunity to participate in extracurricular activity. My campaign is not a political driven agenda. Trust me, it is not a political driven agenda. It is rooted in my experience as an educator and as a parent of 2 children who have graduated from Cumberland County school system. I seek your support, and we are better together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is former Commissioner Willie Mitchell.
We need Board of Education that's going to return phone calls to parents that have problems. Good evening. Grilly Mitchell, 4056 William Luther Drive, Hope Mills. Good evening, town, board, staff, mayor, and commissioners. The other week, I was disturbed by an article in the rooms that I heard that someone had the audacity to call our town staff, our town people is lazy because they are doing what they get paid to do. I don't know how many of you all have ever been aware of not being prepared when the storm comes. It's too late to react when you should have been proactive. And that's what our town staff is doing. I can't speak for nobody else, but I know what it's like to not follow instruction recommendations and don't prepare. When you say, okay, it's time to go home, on the way home, someone get hurt, someone get killed. Now you're spending more time because now you gotta explain what happened. When you have the county shutting down, when you have Fort Liberty shutting down, we follow suit. We've always done that way. That's a process procedure we use. When I see a city commissioner chime in and say, make comments about the negativity that you should be supporting what's going on, that is wrong. It's unprofessional. It's not the right way to do things. You got to be united. You got to work together as one. Because your town staff represents you. It represents the citizens. And when they take action, they're taking action to protect us all. Safety is priority number one. When the police department speaks, we should listen. When public works speaks, we should listen. Fire department speaks, we should listen. They're subject matter experts. When this town staff make recommendations for us to do some things, we have to listen because safety first. One life lost is one life too many. What the hell are we doing when we don't listen to the people that is representing us? That's why we elect them. That's why we have to make sound decisions. And I appreciate what y'all said today. And one of the things I appreciate is the fact that the manager's report, and y'all just talking about something I'm thinking about. I would like to see the manager's report become a quarterly newsletter. So when it comes out, you got a comprehensive package of everything that's been covered in the past 3 months. The transparency is there. I appreciate the fact that you all listen, you incorporate, and we're making progress. We're moving forward. We're not going backwards no more. It is time to keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, former Commissioner Grilly Mitchell. I will add to what he said about our town staff being lazy. They are not. The decisions that were made on Wednesday prior to Tropical Storm Debbie coming here, I was involved with a meeting with Cumberland County Commissioner Chairman Glenn Adams, who had all the managers and all mayors on a conference call to ensure that what we were planning to do, we were doing it in sync and we were doing it the right way. So that decision to close at noon on Wednesday was not just one person's decision, not at all. Fort Liberty closed at noon. Fayetteville Technical Community College, where I work, along with Mayor Pro Tem Dr. McCray, closed at noon. Our town closed at noon. The county closed at 2. And that's part of preparedness, because the models kept changing. Our fire chief, Matt Kane, sits right over there, and we got information on the hour. The models moved, the eye moved. You cannot be prepared enough. But our town staff is not lazy. They were working and involved the entire day on Thursday. I know, because I was standing out there on the crosswalk with Don Cisco. I was at a bridge with Don Cisco. Our fire department, our police department, our public works were all engaged, to include stormwater, all engaged in this storm. Now, a lot of times you don't see that because it's behind the scenes. So I guess one or some people would assume, well, maybe our town employees are just kicking it back. Didn't happen. Initially, we thought we would close for 2 days because we didn't know what the storm was going to look like, what was going to look like. We didn't. But when the storm passed through Thursday, a decision was made Thursday evening that our town employees would return back to the offices and our town offices would open at 9. And they did. But here's what the public don't know, is that before those offices opened here, our town employees were already inspecting different parts of this community before 9 a.m. They're not lazy. So I want to kind of clear the record. If I get a little passionate, well, it's because I care about those that take care of us when we're at home. And those are the employees of this town. They're dedicated employees. I know, I've seen that myself. They are truly dedicated to providing the best quality services to our community. And I'm thankful and I'm humbled to be a part of this family of dedication. So I just want to park it right there because it does concern me when I hear comments like that. Command Sergeant Major King, sir, it's been some time since I think that area has been looked at in detail, thoroughly, and I think it's time that we take that mission on. We have an excellent stormwater administrator, director here, and I will ask our town manager that we will relook the area because that is a new development that has been built in that backside. Okay, we will relook that area. I was there myself. I saw where the water was coming, and to me, it looked like it was all pouring just in one funnel. And the one thing that I looked at as I was standing there in the street is I'm looking at these small drains. To me, they're small. Now, they may be appropriate. I don't know. I'm not a stormwater expert. But when I see small drains trying to handle the volume of water that's being pushed to just one location on that road, then that tells me something. Because it was coming across the road. Just that one side as you go in, it's that right side, about middle ways all the way down to the cul-de-sac. And you can see the water coming down, coming from the back, even on the back side, and then on the left side, I saw water coming off those homes trying to go into a couple drains, storm drains. That's what I witnessed when I was there. So yeah, we're going to look at it, and we'll probably put something on the agenda in a future meeting to address it.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
And thank you for coming and speaking about it. We are a community. We take care of every area of our community. That's it for public comments. We're going to the consent agenda, which is next. Item A, consideration of approval of the Board of Commissioners July 15,
Excuse me, Mayor.
2024.
I think there was another list.
Oh, did I miss one? Oh, I did miss one. Thank you. Good catch. Yes, I missed one. I got nervous. I get passionate about some things sometimes. We have a lot of folks here that are pickleball players. During our community forum, a lot of our great pickleball players were very vocal and decided to come to our meeting tonight. And I think some things will be discussed later on in the agenda. So usually it's 3 minutes per person, but if the group of you have one person to speak, on behalf of the group, you may come up and speak, and that would be Deborah Lockwood.
Thank you for this time. First of all, I'm Deborah Lockwood. I'm originally from Robertson County. I've been in Hope Mills ever since 1987. Been home. I'm a retired educator. My first love was always the children. When I retired, my love became senior citizens. So on behalf of pickleball lovers, I'd like to invite all of you to come and experience it with us if you've never tried it. No age limit. We got a 95-year-old that plays. We got as young as 12, 5, 6-year-olds. So come out and be with us. It was originally, matter of fact, we got something to be proud of. Hope Mills is the home of pickleball. This is where Hope Mills pickleball got.
And I did not know that.
In 2014, there was a designated here for seniors. It started as a senior activity. And like I said, it's the birthplace. You got something to be proud of. It has spread to Robeson County and other surrounding counties. I brag on Hope Mills all the time, every chance I get, because everything I do is in Robeson County. So I invite my church family, and I brag them, I tell them about how this is the birthplace of pickleball, how it's growing. It's one of the most popular growing sports in the world, in the country right now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it in the Olympics. But like I said, it started as a senior game, and it encouraged seniors to get out of their home, come and socialize. We're a big family. I made a big, wonderful family and met people I would have never met if I hadn't been playing pickleball. I started playing in 2015. So, but like I said, I've gotten a big family out of this experience. People don't realize, those who've never retired yet, when you retire, you miss that socialization and the connections you have with your working family. You go home, sometimes people don't know what to do with their time. If they have something to look forward to, it's wonderful. And so pickleball is an outlet for seniors, because there's a lot of people playing that wouldn't do nothing. It's exercise for them. It's healthy. It's even like suicide prevention. I've talked to several people. If it wasn't for pickleball, they've had those thoughts. But pickleball is their outlet. It really, really benefits. And my biggest issue and it's gotten me really upset, is that it started out as a senior game for seniors. And we've never been charged. We are self-reliant. We play over at the center here. No one has to help us. There's no staff involved. We take care of ourselves. We set up our equipment. We clean up behind ourselves. But we do not have to bother the staff. We don't bother them for anything. We've got materials. We bought materials and balls. And another thing to be proud of, the senior games is always hosted at Hope Mills for pickleball. And ever since I've been playing, they've always hosted. And a lot of my family, pickleball family, we volunteer to help run the games. And it's a big success. It's just growing. It's grown to the point where we have to cut it up to 2 days this time. Usually they do it all in one day, but there's too many involved. They've had to split it up. But like I said, my thing is, I would rather not see my seniors have to pay to play, because they've never had to do that, because in your budget, it says open free gym time, and that's the slot we fill, and it's designated that seniors play for free, no restrictions, but 54 and under have paid $2 a day. I mean, that's the issue that a lot of us have with it, because like I said, some people, $2 is nothing to some people, retired people, but there's some people, at the end of the month, $40 make a difference. It might cost them their medicines, gas, a little bit of food, but $40 may not, may be nothing to some people's budget. But there's a lot of seniors who are on fixed incomes, and that $40 makes a big difference sometimes. But like I said, we've never had to pay to play, because no one has to help us. There's no expense in us playing, because the gym's there, the lights are on, the air is on, and it's just vacant. And I don't like to see gyms vacant, because I was a retired PE teacher. I like to see open spaces used. And if you got to pay a light bill, use the facilities. And we only went in when it was not being used. And when they have functions and they need that facility, they just canceled our pickleball time, which is no problem. We don't have a problem with that, because we know there's other functions that go on sometimes, and they need that space. So we don't have a problem with giving up our day. Right now we play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9:30 to 1:30. That's wonderful, because it usually went back to 2 days at one time. And I heard that we may get to play 5 days a week. That's even more exciting. Because, like I said, once you play it, it's easy to get addicted. And if you never tried it, come out and be with us. You don't have to have no excuse. I mean, I'm too old. No, you're not. Like I said, if a 95-year-old can get out there and play, very active, you can get out there and play too. And we are there to teach you. You don't have to worry about it. A lot of us have paddles that you can borrow, equipment. So come out and play with us. And we'll teach you, we'll train you. We do that all the time with newbies. You've got to start somewhere so you don't have an excuse. But I appreciate your time. And like I said, I'm thankful for my seniors, and I always will.
Thank you, Deborah.
Miss Deborah, you were my like 7th or 8th grade PE teacher. I heard that voice the other day. I did a flashback 1990. I don't want you to teach me how to play football. I'm just joking with you. Anyway, good to see you again.
That was really good. I'm gonna tell you something, Deborah. This weekend, I was strolling through channels and I hit ESPN. And what did I find?
Pickleball.
I found a national pickleball tournament this weekend, and it was being broadcast on ESPN. And I probably would not have found it because I was looking for preseason football games. I'll be honest. As what was on ESPN, it was like, well, let me see if preseason football games on. But no, I did not find that. I found national pickleball, and I watched it. Not all of it, but a good bit of it. So I think one of the items we have is on the agenda a little bit later on in the meeting tonight. We'll be discussing some of the things that you brought up, but that's on the agenda. Okay, now I can move on to consent agenda. Yeah. Item A, consideration of approval of the Board of Commissioners July 15th, 2024 closed session minutes, no attachments. Item B, consideration of approval of the Board of Commissioners meeting minutes July 15th, 2024, special meeting July 15th, 2024, regular meeting minutes July 29th, 2024, special meeting, and August 13th, 2024 special meeting, community forum, and that's under tab 4. Item C, acceptance of monthly financial report for July 2024 under tab 5. D, approval of resolution R 2024-013 declaring certain property of the town to be surplus and authorizing the disposition of said property, that is under tab 6. And item E, adoption of ordinance 2024-05 2024 annual Christmas parade Dock Road closure, and that's under tab 7. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Seeing no one opposed, motion carries. We move on to the end of the consent agenda. Item 6, which is old business, we have none. We move into item 7, which is a discussion about our Hope Mills National Disaster Recovery Response Action Plan overview, and there are no attachments. And this item will go back to our town manager, Chancellor McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mayor and fellow commissioners. We have discussed some of this a little bit up until now. Some of my thunder was pun intended. But so what I want to hold up for you here is this is the Hope Mills Emergency Operations Guidelines that we follow. And it'll kind of piggyback on the comments about our staff, because I take stuff like that kind of personally. Because a lot of people don't know the extensive amount of coordination that we do. We don't expect the general public to know the intricacies of how to operate an EOC and things of that nature. But this guide that we use will tell you all of the things that we do. And so I'll go through the guide briefly, but then I'm gonna go through a timeline from Monday when we first heard about the hurricane and what we did all week. And so it's extensive enough to have a statement of approval from every sitting person of authority, from the mayor to myself to the planning director to the public works director, the fire chief. The purpose is indicated as these guidelines were developed to provide operational guidelines and resources for use in the response to natural and man-made disasters. So it doesn't just apply to hurricanes. If we have a weather event, type of snow, we don't have earthquakes or things of that nature, but any type of event that could lend itself to an emergency situation, this is the guy we use. We're located in Area C of the North Carolina Emergency Management Area. Direction and control, it talks about providing efficient responses to an emergency by coordinating all responses and recovery activities through on central locations. The EOC is the base of operations. A lot of people may see this pretty building with the red and blue awnings, but this is our Emergency Operations Center. During the crisis event, it was built to withstand a level 4 hurricane. And so that's why we built it. And we're talking about a facility at our golf course. We're already having the foresight to design that as a level 4 facility, which will now become a second shelter for Hope Mills in the Cumberland County system. We talked about, so the responsibilities. This is very detailed. It outlines the responsibility of the mayor. He declares, I'm reading this right out of the manual. He declares a state of emergency for the town. He requests assistance through county emergency management, which is the county process. He carries out the duties outlined in the general statutes. I have my own responsibilities. Mayor changes, responsibilities stay the same. Manager changes, responsibilities stay the same. We update the contact information, but these responsibilities remain the same. The planning administrator has his responsibilities in terms of maintaining maps. Back to me, when directed by the mayor, I will assume control of the EOC, coordinating all of the departments and things of that nature. The police chief has his responsibilities. The fire chief has his. The deputy fire chief has his responsibilities. The public works director, monitoring the dam, is the first thing under his responsibilities outlined in this manual. Finance director. A lot of people don't think of the finance for hurricanes. Well, who's controlling the money? Who's controlling the gas cars to make sure all our fleet vehicles are full in the middle of the night, things of that nature. And so when you hear that comment, it just strikes, because when I tell you the amount of coordination we have is almost disrespectful. I'm gonna just say that. Cumberland County Management, we interface with them. But I'll take you to Monday. First thing Monday morning, before the hurricane came, we had in this room an emergency management team meeting just with Hope Mills employees. Mayor was there, I was there, every one of these department heads were here, and we were talking through, what does this mean? Fire, and at different stages, different departments take the lead. The department we get all of the weather reports from is the fire marshal. He's telling us this looks just like Florence. And so we learned from Matthew and Florence. That's why we got this building over here, because people don't realize Hope Mills technically is an island. Seaway Collier is going to flood with a water sprinkler. Everyone knows Rockfish Road is going to flood in front of Seaway Collier. That's the access point to Hope Mills. When you're passing by Sonic, you're crossing the bridge. When you're coming in from Camden, you're crossing the bridge. When you're coming in from 95 at Barton, you're crossing the bridge. During one of those hurricanes, all of those bridges went up. And so we're learning from this by having that building there, but we're also identifying. Before Monday, Don had a flood map in my office the Friday before the hurricane. All the areas that flooded during Florence and Matthew. The stormwater director is talking. So we're going around this room on Monday. Everybody is going around. This is what we have in place. Don, Public Works, and Beth Brown, they're already out. 4 days before it comes. The hurricane's not coming to Thursday. They're clearing storm drains. They're clearing the lakes. They're actually identifying the roadways that could potentially be barricaded. I saw a post where they saw The public works director put barricades on the side of Beaver Circle. And the Post was saying, well, why didn't they barricade Beaver Circle? They hadn't flooded yet. They put the barricades out there because the last thing you want to happen in the middle of a flood is they got to go back to the compound to get the barricades. So they're staging around all of town. That's just his department. While he's actually maintaining the dam. That's Monday. Tuesday, all of us are in the EOC on a county-wide regional conference call with Cumberland County Emergency Management. Hope Mills is on there. Spring Lake is on there. City of Fayetteville is on there. The county's on there. And this is how technical this gets. We can't issue a declaration of a state of emergency until Roy Cooper issues his. But if your house floods and you want FEMA assistance, you can't get it if we didn't issue a declaration of a state of emergency ourselves. But it doesn't end there. Every one of these municipalities had to submit their declarations to the county because FEMA gets the declarations from them. So they're sending us their templates of their declarations, and everybody in unison is drafting them on the call. We're hearing the county say they're shutting down Thursday and Friday. We're hearing Kia Anthony say, no, we're not shutting down. And she comes right back 15 minutes later, yeah, we are shutting down. City of Fayetteville, everybody's on this call. So when the mayor says, and I told him Monday, I said, Mayor, no matter what decision you and I make, we're going to get hammered. If we shut down early, we're going to get hammered. If we shut down late, we're going to get hammered. But that's what leaders do. I don't mind it at all. But that's what we do. We take the tough shots, but we know we're doing this for a right reason. But that's Tuesday. Wednesday comes. We close at 12:30. There are certain staff members who never were off work. Mayor got off and went to the dam. You know, and so you have police. Mind you, the EOC is up and running on Monday. They're putting logs in and putting things together for the operation of the EOC on Monday. So we had this same conference call countywide Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And so every single day. And then on top of that, I created a group text with everybody in emergency services. We're communicating with each other in real time at all times. That's how I got the notification from my public works director that the actual water was receding. But people don't realize we're downstream. So when the hurricane is gone, I'm scared on Friday and Saturday because the waters above us are receding and all that water is coming to us. When you saw how about the dam breach for that roadway in Wakanda, that water came here. That's why the dam levels went up. A lot of people don't see that, but I got that notification from my public works director 2 days before it happened. He said that bridge is going to go out. And when it went out, he started tracking Sonic's bridge. He started tracking the Legion Road Bridge at Cameron. And he called me. He said, we're about 4 feet. I might have to start closing off this town. This is before. And so to hear a comment of laziness, it speaks to a level of misinformation and people being uninformed. And why I always speak about educating. This is what's really going on. We had an after action meeting after the hurricane this past Friday to update this. We have a manual and we executed it flawlessly. And so when Monday came, hurricane's gone. We get hit with more water than anybody ever knew, but that's not a forecasted storm. And so to the general public, we have to realize there are systems like stormwater systems. If you hear the phrase 100-year storm, that system is meant to handle a storm that comes every 100 years. I think Matthew was 1,000-year storm. That's how bad that was. So it gets to a point where we're just managing rescue efforts. There's nothing we can do to stop the flooding as opposed to maybe afterwards identifying areas that we can do some mitigation, which is what we're doing right now. And so this message to the citizens, because everybody didn't say that. And I want people to understand there were several citizens that called us crying, thanking us for helping them. There was, people don't realize Dawn is at someone's house, assuring her that her house is not going to flood because it flooded during 4 months. So there were a lot of stories that we did get from people who were very appreciative of the fact that when I'm at home, I don't have to leave my family to take care of people. And we're getting cursed at by people driving around barricades. And when your car stalls, who do you think has to come get you? And so at some point, when we put on the press releases, please refrain from riding around barricades, it's one thing if your car stalls, but if we have a real issue, someone has to risk their life to come save yours. If you notice, I posted on Wednesday, everybody please stay home. I'd rather you be home and safe, because we did get lucky. It did not hit as much as we thought. And I'm glad it didn't. But I'd rather err on the side of caution. I'd rather be home, taking a couple shots, because we were a little bit proactive, than to have our staff here on Thursday, and we got people driving back to Raleigh in a thunderstorm. And so those are the things I just wanted to highlight, that to anybody that don't think we don't have a very well executed plan of action. We do. To the point where I don't need to look at this. I know what we need to do. And so it's not a joke, but to first responders, I don't need to tell Don to pull out his emergency guide. He probably has it, 300 pages of it memorized. And so I tell my staff all the time, you need to hear that you appreciate it. You need to hear thank you, because you don't hear it that often. But I appreciate our staff, and I say it publicly because I know the extensive level of dedication that they have for this town. And we say this a lot. If you work in municipal government, you got to have a service heart. Because we do this because we love to do this kind of thing, these kind of things. And so that's my soapbox on it. I will be bringing this updated document around for signatures for everybody in the authoritative positions, but we did speak on some of this stuff, but I did want to at least go down the timeline of things. And I am leaving a lot out in terms of the very specific things fire did, the very specific things police did, the very specific things public works did. But they were on this job constantly. I think Bobby Carter, our fire marshal, posted a picture of a couch with a sleeping bag on it. Looked like a man cave. He was in the ELC, spending the night. And so our staff is dedicated to this town. Not one gripe, not one anything. Every message we sent out, it was responded to in record time, and we were all in unison, from the mayor down to our public works staff. We were all in constant communication with each other, to the point Thursday evening, my mayor hit me, hey, you might have to go back tomorrow. And I said, what we doing? And so I contacted the county manager. He's contacted Mayor Pro Tem. Me, him, and Mayor Pro Tem, before I drop the hammer on staff, we got to come back working tomorrow. We're communicating. And I sent the all calm out to everybody. Contact your staff. We'll be back 9 o'clock, first thing in the morning. And before I got here at 8 o'clock, stormwater department's already out in the field. And so I needed that read into the record. And I want our staff to hear from me that you all appreciate it.
Thank you, Chancellor. Spot on. EOC was manned 24 hours a day by our first responders. So there was someone in the EOC, there was someone there to get a phone call that we put out in press releases. one of the biggest things that we did early was the information flow that we wanted to get out to the public. We did it through press releases. And we pushed information out that way. We had a dedicated phone line in the EOC, and there were operators there 24 hours a day. So no, our employees are not lazy at all. It's dedication to this community. And this was a very good, it was very, very well planned, and it started that way on Monday, on our kickoff meeting. And it ended up, I'm glad the storm didn't cause any more damage than it did. It caused enough, any storm like that. But there was a lot of people down at the lake looking at the lake because they'd never seen that amount of water come over the weirs, or fingers as I call them. And there was a lot of concern, and Don will tell you, of folks living downstream from the lake that there would be a possibility of flooding. A lot of concern about that. And it didn't happen. And the reassurance that it didn't happen went back to Don and his team of reassuring folks that live downstream that there's nothing wrong with the dam. It is working as it was designed to do, and it did. And I stood there and I was proud to see it. Don was in constant contact with Scheibel Engineering, the builders of the dam and the designers of the dam. Those engineers, they were working too on Thursday when the tropical storm come through here. Now you can't ask for anything better than that when you've got that kind of communication going on during a tropical storm or even a hurricane. Any board comments? Okay.
What Jets was saying about the road, the Deaver Circle not being blocked off, I went over there and there was a lady who had gone in the water 3 feet big, broke the axle to her car, and there were men there trying to get that car out. And she said, why hasn't the town blocked off the street? I totally asked the same thing. I had called you earlier to see, and you said you checked with the police and you checked with Don to get that blocked off. And that woman broke the axle of her car because it was not blocked off and went in. Now with the other night when Hallwood was having such a storm, I was called, said, we can't get up with anyone in the town. Can you help me? I said, you need to call 911. I don't know what to tell you. I had 2 feet of water in my first floor where it was flooding out. I was dumping buckets of water while I was trying to talk to some of the homeowners who just needed someone to talk to. So we care. The board also cares. All of us care about this town. And we'll go to the extreme if we can't do anything but sit on the phone and sympathize with them until they can. So if I said it wasn't blocked off, it really needed to be blocked off because I personally went there and saw it.
I will say, and just as the clarification in the education piece, there's a pothole in Deaver Circle that's tied to the current conditions of the road that we do not own. At the time that what you're talking about is someone driving through a pothole full of water. Deaver Circle had not flooded yet. What we had indicated was that that area typically does flood, and we put it on the list of roadways that actually will be barricaded. At that time, that roadway had not been flooded, and which is why I sent out another email to the board letting them know there's a difference between the current condition of Deaver Circle in terms of the poor maintenance of it by whoever owns it, which is not the town, and an actual flood. Flooding means it's impassable for the entire area. There was a private business owner that put a cone in the middle of an actual pothole. That's what happened, I think, in the instance you're talking about. It hadn't flooded yet, but when it did begin to flood, our public works officers out there getting attacked by people still trying to drive around it when he has the barricade. So we put out disclaimers, please do not drive around these barricades. If someone does, we've done whatever we can to put that barrier out to say this is not an area you should drive through. In terms of Hallwood Drive, I will say that the correspondence that I received, the person that was complaining, my fire chief and my deputy fire chief, was in the streets rescuing someone from their home in a boat. So I know that they were there. I'm not sure where the narrative came from, but I know for a fact that my two guys were on that scene, on that specific street at that time. And so all we can do is mitigate and address everything that is brought to us. But I do want to make sure people understand, especially with Deaver, there's a difference between, if you go out to Deaver Circle right now, it's raining. That pothole has water in it. That is not classified as us barricading it off because it's flooding. Those are two different things, and I wanted to make sure everyone understands that, because we talked about Deaver Circle ad nauseum about the fact that yes, the current condition of the roadway is poor, but that is not a roadway owned by the town. Telling us to upgrade Deaver, you might as well tell us to go upgrade Scarborough Road, because it is not a road that's owned by the town. We have talked to the mayor recently about trying to get creative at doing some things to create partnerships with other people who have interest, but to tell the town that we need to take half of our general fund, $4.5 million is what it would cost to fix Deaver Circle today. And we have said ad nauseum that there is a fix coming for Deaver Circle. It requires the installation of a system by NCDOT, who they are saying they're going to do on Rockfish when they get to that project. When that system is in place, that is when the town could actually, at a more efficient cost, put the curb and gutter in Deaver Circle. But up until that point, the minute we go out and repair part of that road, we're taking the responsibility of it. And we've always said that. So what makes it complicated with hurricanes is when I'm putting out a press release, the press release I put out had two key notes. It explained why we were not lowering the lake, and it explained specifically we were monitoring Summer Drive and Deaver Circle, and when they flooded, they would be barricaded, and they were.
Well, I just know when I went out there, and I do know what flooding is. Rockfish Road, I drove through it, and it was up to my tires. The school collier had looked like a lake in their yard, so, and it was not barricaded at that time. And I do know what flooding is because I drove through it, and my house flooded out as well. And I don't know when you went out there and looked at it, and chances are it wasn't flooded when you went. But when this lady went in that hole, there was one little red cone that was stuck to the, I don't know if somebody moved it or what, but it was stuck over to the right-hand side of the road. And she went in and it broke her axle. And that's what I took pictures of it. I know flooding when I see flooding. And I'm not criticizing anybody. You did what you thought you were supposed to do at the time. But had there been a barricade up at that road, she would not have gone in there and wrecked her car.
Thank you, Commissioner Craver. Commissioner Squirrel.
Chancellor, just for clarification, ultimately, wasn't it a courtesy that you put up the roadblock since it is not our road?
That is 100% correct.
And from my understanding, because I'm all about off-roading, if those who've seen my Jeep, a flood is not going to break an axle. That pothole is what broke her axle. Now, well, in any of, I mean, just realistically, a low amount of water is going to hide a pothole. I talked to you, last week, I believe. When I talked, I had also contacted the mayor. Citizen had contacted me about Ellis Jackson.
Yes,
Now,
that's
granted,
correct.
it is not a town-owned road. Her issue was she was concerned because it's a private road, it's a dirt road, and she called me up, it was 8 o'clock at night, and she's like, it's bad, it's flooded, the potholes are deep, can you take a look at it? I was like, sure, let me get my Wrangler, because if I take my little Renegade, it's not gonna make it through potholes. So I took my Wrangler, my lifted Wrangler, and I went through it. And with 37-inch tires, the water was coming up halfway to the middle of my brim. So you're talking about over 15 inches of rainwater. And that's not even a town-owned road. And I went all the way to the very end of it, and there was pothole after pothole of this dirt road that was very narrow.
You're talking about Ellis Jackson.
That's what I just said there. Yes. And so I get back home and I call the citizen. I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am, this is not a town-owned road. I was like, however, I will try my best to see what I can do about it, because if not everyone has a Wrangler to get through those kind of potholes. Unfortunately, I'm due for a hip replacement, so I couldn't do anything to try to help that road. But any kind of water, even with that, I wouldn't have gone through it with my regular vehicle, because it will destroy the underside of a vehicle. And that's why the warning is, if there's especially with this kind of rain event, stay off the road. You know it's gonna be bad. You know Deeper Circle is bad regardless. If you know it's gonna be bad, why would you still try to drive down that road with a pup? So, I mean, it was a courtesy, and I understand that. We're trying to do the best we can. There's solutions that are gonna be happening. They're not gonna happen quickly. I mean, it's government, it's not an answer people wanna hear, but we're doing the best we can, and
We appreciate
we're trying.
Well, and just to piggyback on the Ellis Jackson, when people reach out to me, you're gonna get a thorough response. When you asked me about Ellis Jackson, I highlighted the fact that we had just completed an annexation across the street from Millstone, and Ellis Jackson goes through the property that we annexed. So we worked with the developers a month ago, prior to hurricane, to make sure that the portion of Ellis Jackson that goes through their property, which is town and limit property, is brought up to town standards. But once you get to the back side of that property, you're back into the county on the dirt road. So the courtesy part is we're forcing a developer to bring a portion of that roadway up to town standards and NCDOT standards, because they're developing a portion of it. But we understand that outside of that, it's not our jurisdiction. We cannot bring that up. And so you can drive down Deeper Circle right now and have a puddle in the actual pothole, and the road is dry. If you run into it, you're gonna break your axle. I stand by my public works director in that the minute that area flooded, those barricades were put up. And I'll end with that.
Okay, anything else? Okay, our next item is closed session.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to conduct a closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318-11A3 to consult with the attorney on matters within the attorney-client privilege.
We're gonna go into closed session. We'll be back. Hopefully it won't be too long. We'll be back in a few moments. But at this point, we gotta go into a closed session for discussion. Oh, sorry. She's gotta say her thing, then we get into new business. See, I'm trying to get there.
We have to go back into session. We gotta go back into session first? You already did it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
You gotta do it.
Okay, I make a motion to move I move to seal the minutes of the closed session until such time as the release of the information will no longer frustrate the purpose of the closed session and further action was taken.
Motion? A motion, do we have a second? All in favor? Seeing no one opposed, motion carries. Now we can go into new business. Item A, approval of fee schedule amendment, fees associated with registration rentals and marquee advertisements under tab 9, and that will go to Lamarco, our Parks and Rec Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Sorry you all had to wait. This is why a lot of you all are still here. So the fee schedule, pickleball is just a portion of what I was attempting to do for the fee schedule. What you have before you are amenities and services that were not quite ready yet for the budget season. And so now that we have the splash pad completed, the shelter, we've got requests for rental of the splash pad for parties and the shelter associated with it. Along with that, we realized that there were several other amenities that were not on the fee schedule. For instance, the shelter over at Herring Park. Neither one of our multi-purpose rooms, the one over at the Rec Center or the one at Brower Park, the Gary Dove building. People requested rentals, but we didn't have a fee set for those. So this fee schedule is in an attempt to add those to the fee schedule so that we can legally begin to set a price and charge for the rental. And then also we kind of canned this agenda about a year ago, but we've done some research with other municipalities with the advertisement on marquees. And so I wanted to bring that back because we continue to get requests to advertise on the marquee, and I just think it's a big portion of revenues that that's simple, easy to do, and we're missing out on it. So there's a policy and there's a fee schedule associated with the marquee advertisement. And then finally, as far as pickleball, this was my attempt to actually lessen the burden of a $2 a day drop-in fee. So what my proposal is a $10 a month fee for non-residents or 18 to 54 residents or non-residents. In other words, if you're 55 plus and you're a Hope Mills resident, pickleball, open gym, and fitness area will remain free to you. Fees don't kick in until you are, unless you are 18 to 54 town resident, or you're 18 to 54 or even 55 plus and you're a non-resident Hope Mills. That is consistent to the fee schedule that was adopted by the board. I didn't make the decisions, but it just came time to when we had to implement the fee schedule. So this right here is my attempt to actually lessen the burden by offering a $10 a month registration fee for open gym, for pickleball, or for the fitness area. There's also another option to where if you wanted to do either one of those activities, but you didn't. But let's just say that you drop in and play pickleball, but you don't play every day, or you want to use the fitness area, but you don't go every day. There's an option to have a punch card with 20 visits, and you can do either one of those activities with the punch card up to 20 visits. You can use that in 30 days. You can use that 6 months from now. And then when the 20 visits are up, you can purchase another punch card for $10. So that's basically what the fee schedule is, and I'll be happy to take any questions you may have. I know there's a lot of discussion about pickleball being free, but with the way the fee schedule is, the fee schedule kind of mandated that we began to assess those charges. And so we kind of held off on that to try to actually make it more economical with those 3 options I gave you.
Okay, thank you, Lamarco. Questions from the board? Commissioner Squall?
Now, this is talking for the future. When we eventually do the pickleball courts on the golf course, will they still have fees for that?
I'm thinking no, and the reason why I say that is because Fayetteville offers pickleball for free at outdoor courts.
Okay.
And so, not getting a rationale for that, I'm assuming that's why, because there are more of them and there's, it's really pick up play or, it's not organized. I look at the indoor as, it's like any other registration rental. There's a fee associated with it, and then here again, the fee is in the book that says we have to assess the fees for it. So, but to answer your question, we kind of had that conversation. The new building, if we're fortunate enough to build it, if pickleball is played inside on those courts, there will be a fee, but the outdoor courts, there will not be a fee associated with it. And that's consistent with any other outdoor courts in the area that I've done my research on.
Okay. Any other questions?
Are these all your fees here on these 2 pages?
These are the amendment to the fees. So this is in addition to the fees that was adopted.
Okay, so if the chapter is not on here, it's on the other.
Yes.
That we approved.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
I think this right here, we went back and looked at everything that we were not charging for that people have asked to do rentals on. And so to legally be able to actually offer those reservations on it, this amendment actually adds those fees. It also assesses fees for things, amenities associated with rentals such as the podium, PA system. These are all things that we weren't charging for that other municipalities charge for. And so those items are also in this agenda.
Okay. Okay.
When this was brought to, I guess, Commissioner Kramer, I guess this would kind of go in line with your committee as well. So when it came to Parks and Rec Committee, what kind of feedback did you get? Anyway.
I can tell you, well, to be honest, they didn't think I was charging enough. And I told them, I told them you got to start somewhere. I didn't want to overly burden, but I told them I did have to abide by the ordinance essentially, which is the fee schedule that was adopted. So, and I told them I couldn't charge above what was in the book already, but they actually wanted me to charge $350 for drop-ins. I told them I couldn't do that. So, and a large number of them, I want to say 80% of my Parks and Recreation Board members are seniors and Hope Mills residents. So,
okay. Anything else?
I think just have you. Do we know the estimated completion date for the outside pickleball courts?
We don't, because I think I would say best case scenario, maybe fall of next year, because we still got to go into construction documents for those, and we're still in the middle of the schematics phase for the community center and the pickleball courts. But I did tell the engineers that was going to be a project that we fast track because we actually have construction money for that particular facility. The difficulty is water and sewer, which we have to bring in from where the proposed development is. So we're kind of waiting on them. I don't know what their timeline is. We can speak on that, but we really need them to bring water and sewer adjacent to our property so we can tap into it.
I will say that they're on the more aggressive side, so I would say sooner than later for their development. And part of their development that is tied to the condos and cottages is where they're bringing water and sewer to. But I will caution that is not the first phase of their development. And so I do know they have to bring water and sewer to it. I do think that it would be brought to the site before we're ready to do it. But I do know that what Mr. Morrison is doing is tracking to make sure that when we are ready to pull the trigger, water and sewer is available. So I can track that, because we're going to track that through plan review anyway. And so we'll know the stages of development they're on, and we'll provide those updates to the board.
And the reason why that's important is part of the pickleball complex. We have to have water and sewer for the restroom facility. So,
okay. DeMarco. Other municipalities charge non-residents fees to use recreational buildings.
A lot more than what we charge or proposing.
Okay.
Myers does not.
For pickleball, that's for pickleball.
And Martin's the but that's an outdoor facility, right?
No, that's in the exact same setup you've got right here.
Okay, okay, hold up.
So we can have a little bit of feedback on this instead of going back to the.
What kind of feedback are you talking about?
I mean, I have some questions, since they're the ones that play, that maybe they can answer what,
Okay, all right. You want to suspend the rules? Fill out Commissioner Swallow? Okay, good, all right.
Can I get one of you or someone to, what would be the issue if we did charge for what is proposed, the 18 to 55 and the non-residents? Can one of you speak on that? Is there an issue with that, or?
No, Commissioner Squirrel, are you asking the issue with the reduced schedule or fee schedule that Mr. Morrison has
Just the fees
presented?
regardless, what is the issue?
If you're going to speak about it, you have to come to the mic.
Yes, please. Gang nominated.
like I said earlier, in your proposed budget for 24-25, you've already got it set for 55 and over 3. It doesn't specify residents, senior or non-residents. It's for seniors 55 and older for free. Well, like I said, now they won't propose it for non-residents. But in your budget,
Mark, is that true?
The new budget does specify non-residents.
not the one I was printed off of your website, because I double checked, and I looked over it, and I made sure, and it does say.
He's gonna go grab it.
Okay. Because it says the gym, the exercise room and gym free play, 55 and older, free. It doesn't specify, unless I missed that word, non-resident somewhere, but it does say 54 and younger, $2.
Okay.
Unless I was looking at an older one or something, I just got it. But it says 24, 25, the one that was printed out to me.
And I think that there is the proposed fee schedule that is reduced to $10 a month, but Drew is confirming what the approved fee schedule was in terms of what was adopted by the board. And so we are having on the floor a request for an amendment to that fee schedule. You guys at your pleasure can amend it to whatever else it is. I do think, the meeting we had last week, if there's some discrepancies or something that was an oversight, that can be corrected through this amendment. But I think what the crux of the matter is, I think Commissioner Swell is asking what the, I guess, trepidation of the initial charges are.
So, because my understanding, okay, out of this group that's here, now granted, it's not the whole pickleball community. How many of you are Hope Mills residents?
Yeah, we're in the Hope Mills.
Okay.
See, somewhere in the county, do they charge anything?
But we don't have county parks and rec either. We are separate entities.
You're separate, yeah, you're separate. And like I said, the folks, the guidelines I had printed out just the other day specified that there was no charge for even for, it doesn't specify residents or non-residents for 55. And that's why I would assume that was the official budget for 24-25. So they gave all the schedules, all the fees, everything that goes on.
Yeah, but that's why we're researching it now. Because we just approved this budget a few months ago.
Okay.
Did you?
She's correct.
She's correct?
Yes, she is. It does say,
Seniors and.
It just says 55 and over, no cost.
55 and over, no
Additional
cost,
resident
ages,
non-resident.
ages 65 and over, no cost, and town employees, no cost, for, fitness area and gym.
Okay. Well,
Your recommendation?
Well, I'll do whatever y'all say, but I'll tell you where I got the recommendation from. It wasn't just us. My Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and on many occasions, questioned, and it stemmed from the classes. So it's not free play per se, but it was the classes that I want to say probably 70 to 80% of the participants in line dancing, yoga, etc., were outside or non-resident Hope Mills, and kind of Hope Mills residents were missing out on certain classes because several people from outside the town limits were taking classes. So the recommendation to charge for non-residents was a recommendation from my Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and it's consistent with what other municipalities are doing. The fact that we didn't do the 55 non-residents, it was
oversight, but
oversight. So,
but she was on it. She was on it.
and that being the case, Ms. Deborah, you all right? I guess open gym would be an exception. Open gym and pickleball is considered part of open gym. I'm assuming it's not a program.
Yeah.
Um,
I say, with us, we have no instructors. I can understand charging for aerobics and all these other classes, but you have instructors leading those classes, and I can understand it. So I can deal with a fee like that. But as far as kickball stand, we take care of ourselves, and we always have. And, we don't have anybody to need to pay or whatever, and come in and set up for us and all that. We provide everything. We even provide home equipment.
What I will say is that whatever we do have to establish some consistency, because we're talking about building another facility. It's going to have indoor and outdoor play. I like the idea personally of the reduced amount for interior play only, because we don't charge outdoor play for basketball. But I can't walk into a facility, I don't know where I can just tell the person that owns that facility I should be able to use it without paying anything. I do agree that the $2 per day may be a bit much, but the compromise that Mr. Morrison provided was the plaque, the punch card and things of that nature, almost $10 a month. I think that's a compromise, regardless of whatever the fee schedule states. We're talking about making an amendment to that tonight anyway. And so I do think we're talking about building another rec center with outdoor courts and indoor play as well. I would like to hear the feedback on the reduced proposed schedule of $10 a month. I do think that that's fair. And another thing that I want to make sure everyone understands is you have 55 and up outside residents that pay for bingo, that pay for other senior activities. Are we going to open up a Pandora's box if they want their fees waived as well?
Let me throw something out. I'll come back to you, Commissioner Squalla. The issue we have here is fairness. There's overhead costs associated with that building, whether it's occupied by one person or 100 people. We still have to pay for the lights. We still have to pay staff to open it up. We still have to pay for water and sewer. So there's overhead costs associated to the building. And that's probably all that we're looking for, is a contribution to just contribute to the overhead cost of the building. So the proposal is $10 a month or $100 a year, right?
That was the other piece I didn't add. You could do $100 per year. It's not in the fiscal agenda item, but it was during discussion that we said for economy of scale, and the best deal will be $100 per year, and you can come visit how many other times you want.
Let me ask you, how fair is $10 a month to play in a building that you don't have to pay a light bill on or a water bill on, but just, and you know that it's safe, you know it's secure, and you know the lights are gonna be on, and you're gonna be greeted by staff?
Well, you said what, $2 for 20 times?
I like.
Either $10,
$10 a month, let's just take all this cap, take all the stickers out and punch cards, and just get down to $10 a month or $100 a year.
Now, can
That's
that be,
less than $10.
can that be a household though?
That's just per person.
Can that be a household? Because like, me and my wife play, him and his wife play.
Yeah, I'll come right back to you.
So are you asking me to pay $200 a year?
So when you mean household, define that,
Me and my wife,
okay?
that's it.
So you're looking at jointly $100 a year or $10 a month, okay? Is it the same for a husband and wife?
I will add, and I don't want to be the bad guy, but what if we playing baseball and we got 2 kids in the house to play baseball?
we looked at that and we get the same scenario. We have, some families have 4 children, and we talked about a reduced scale. We have more than 2 kids playing, but that wasn't part of the budget amendment or the budget because that's something that Max and I are still working through. So,
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think is fair? What do you think is fair? Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
So, like I said, we, and Deborah, we have, we supply our own equipment, we buy the balls, and you guys are supplying the room. So, and I do take classes over there, the line dancing class and things, and I have an instructor, so I pay $5 a month. So if we're setting up and taking down, I will pay $5 a month, for that, for the use of the facility, because we're maintaining ourselves. So I would definitely do that, because we don't have an instructor, and people come in. I would love for you guys to come and teach you, and along with everybody else here, correct, you guys? To come and play pickleball, because we're a family. Like I said last meeting, we're a community family, so it's not just about me, it's about all of us, and also these teenagers, that we all need each other, and I totally understand where you're coming from. We need to feel like we belong, and if you're being pushed away, you're not feeling that feeling, are you?
So you would agree that some type of fee would be fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Commissioner Squirrel.
Now, this is where
That's me.
the other shoe drops, okay? I'm 44 years old, so I have to pay a fee to go to the gym and to play pickleball. So what we're saying is you as a non-resident should pay less than me as a resident.
No, I didn't know nothing.
Well, that's ultimately, that's where the issue is like, we're trying to find the fairity in it, because if I'm a resident, but I'm not 55, I have to pay $10 a
so
month.
Miss Deborah actually likes the punch card and how many other times you want to use it. So,
Because there might be times when somebody can't come 1 day a week, and they get total 4 days a month. They still pay $10 if they have the punch card, and if you can use it till you use up to 20 times. That's a much better deal than paying $10 a month, and something happens, you get sick or whatever, you can only come 3 or 4 times a month.
So how much would the punch card be?
$10 for 20 months.
$10 for a punch card.
$10
For 20
for
visits.
20 visits.
Can I say something? We talked about this fee schedule maybe in 2019, and we were gonna do increase then, and then the board voted no, they didn't want to do it. We were in the middle of COVID, I believe. So here we are again, 4 years later. The other thing to that is, and now, most of the people on your Parks and Recreation Board are senior citizens.
I think all
Okay,
of them.
and
Except Dr. Jordan.
okay.
She's not there yet, she didn't.
Oh, okay. So, agree it's time to have a fee now, like Deborah said, maybe you can use it. If you got a punch card, maybe you can't come this month, maybe you can come 2 times this month. But I think that we've negotiated that's where we are. I think that's fair. I think that's the negotiation.
So are we saying it's the punch card period or $10 a month?
I'm gonna ask you guys, do you want the punch card? Do you want something per month? Do you want something annual? Because you guys are in this discussion, so.
Well, someone say is the residents, you, if you're a resident, you're not paying anything. It's the non-residents who pay.
No. She's 44 years old, she's paying.
18 to 54 residents.
Has to pay.
And she's gonna fix it. Okay. And I know when we sign up for dance class and things, I can't sign up until the 4th Friday. Residents have priority, they can sign up.
A week prior to.
The week prior to us.
Well, that's set, so Casey had that specifically set up for the more popular classes. Tiandre is gonna be over, so Tiandre, who's sitting back, I didn't get a chance to introduce him. He's an operations supervisor, so he's over everything, fitness area, open gym, and, pickleball. He's the lead of pickleball. So, we don't have that restriction on those particular, because it's not one of those classes that fill up. That restriction for residents first are on the classes that residents complained they were getting kind of like registered out of being able to participate. But no, that restriction, we don't see the need to put that restriction on pickleball, open gym, or the fitness area.
So we're back to the punch card. So would the group agree that $10 for the punch card?
Just interject something, I apologize. How, the way the sports manufacturers sell, you get a lot of visitors coming in to all these facilities, including Oak Mill. So they're not gonna drop $20 or $10 just to come visit and play with us. So the option should be, if we're gonna do a punch card, that's cool. Us, county residents and any visitors, the option should be
the $2.
$2.
Yeah, the $2. That's consistent. Actually, $2 drop-in fee would be for anybody. Let's say you visit from Iowa, you want to play pickleball. There's a $2, which is actually cheaper than what I pay. If I go out of town and I want to play anything or gym, it's $15 to drop in. So the drop-in fee will be for anybody maybe visiting or maybe want to come to the facility 1 or 2 times, but don't plan on. Maybe they're gonna be gone, it's vacation time or something.
So it's a drop-in fee or the punch card?
No,
Both.
I think what they're saying is, if I'm somebody that just plays sporadically, I'll pay my $2. But if I'm someone that pays on a regular basis, I get rewarded with a reduced fee through the punch card.
That's for the non-residents.
That's what
Because we play three times a day. Some people play 5 times a day, a week. 3 days a week and 5 days a week. So it's constant. And we all work together.
Okay, so let's put a wrap around it. So $2 and a $10 punch card. Agreed?
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
$10 punch card with 20 punches.
All right.
And that would $2 over 50.
So I don't know how that translates to how y'all vote on this.
I'm getting ready to do that. Okay, so the proposed, thank you, Lamarca, the proposed fee schedule that we have will include the $2 drop-in and the 20 punch card for $10 a month. And that will be the change that will be in the fee schedule that we're approving tonight. Do I have a motion? Second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, the motion carries.
Now you guys can stop emailing and texting.
This is a classic example of government working with citizens to find that common ground. But you gotta open it up for the dialogue, and you gotta look at fairness of what we were looking for and then what you guys were looking for too. So I'm glad that we had that open discussion. We'll move on to item B, which is approval of budget amendment number 4 in the amount of $2,800 for the Hope Mills Police Department under tab 10. This goes back to Chancellor.
I think that's true.
Not sure who.
So it's actually, the budget amendment is actually moving it from asset forfeiture, which is when we seize money from criminal proceeds. And it's to move the, there's a large Connex box down at the golf course. We're having it painted and moving it right here to the police headquarters next to that, metal building where they keep the armored vehicle, and it's for operational readiness. The town went out after the when Fayetteville had all the riots and the George Floyd riots, and they bought everybody protective gear to respond to those types of things. And for years it was stored down there. So if we're going to use it, that's going to take more time to go, get it out of there, bring it back. You're talking probably an hour or so to get all of that done. So this way everything's going to be right here, and we can issue all of that kind of equipment out expeditiously and have it right on our own premises, as opposed to trying to figure out who's got the key and go to the golf course and all that stuff.
Thank you, Chief. Do we have a motion to approve budget amendment number 4?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Next item is item C, appointment of Javon Thomas to the Hope Mills Prime Movers and Veteran Affairs Committee, Carleen Bailey to the Homelessness Advisory Committee, Kenneth Rogers to the Hope Mills Prime Movers, Gama, I can't pronounce that last name, Consalvi to Parks and Recreation Committee, and Fortuna to Daraval to the Board of Adjustment, and that is under tab 11. Is there any discussion? Motion, do I have a second?
Second. Then after, I guess I'll be ready to meet with the Hope Mills Prime Moves the first Thursday in September, because I think we can have enough now.
We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Next item is D, reappointment of Deanna Rosario to the Board of Adjustment for a term to expire September 30th, 2026 under tab 12. Have a motion? Second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Next item is E, removal of Maria Rosa from the Hope Mills Prime Movers Committee under tab 13.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. And the last item is item F, that was moved from the consent agenda to new business, and acceptance and approval of Parks and Recreation special events for FY 24-25 under tab 8. And the reason it was moved, Marco, will explain.
So I just want to make it clear. June 28th, which is the kickoff celebration, just like every other year, the terminus or the end of that event will be the fireworks. Just want to make that clear. Fireworks will be at the celebration, and the parade is a standalone event, which is going to be actually on July 4th, much like we did this year. Just want to make that clear. We just didn't list all of it. There's a whole bunch of festivities going on with the celebration. We just didn't list all of the activities, but the fireworks are set for the 28th because contractually that's what we budgeted, that's what we paid for already. And to actually move that, just so everybody knows, would be $30,000, which we didn't budget for. And it's not guaranteed that we can get the pyrotechnic company to come on July 4th. So I just want to make it clear that the 28th of June is when the fireworks will be scheduled.
And the parade.
The parade's going to be actually on July 4th.
July 4th will be the parade, but the fireworks itself, along with other events, will be on the 28th.
28th, yes, sir.
Okay. And that's what's under Independence Day kickoff celebration.
Yes, sir.
So that's the main reason why it was moved, so the public would know exactly when the fireworks is going to occur next year on what day, and not learn about it 2 or 3 weeks before it actually happens. We're gonna do it tonight. Thank you, Lamarco.
Thank you, sir.
Do I have a motion to approve the Parks and Rec special events FY 24-25? Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Last item tonight's reports and information items. Monthly reports are under tab 14, and all the reminders are listed in the agenda. I would like to go back before we finish and make sure that we're clear on the fee schedule. I want to make sure that we're clear. It's $2 per person, right? And the punch card is per person. Just wanted to make sure that I know we talked about family and husband and wives, but I just want to make sure that that was very clear before we finish up tonight. Okay, it's been a long night. Is there any final comments from board members before we adjourn?
The dunk tank will be at, National Night Out. So if you guys have any issues, I expect you guys to be dunking me, so I gave you a sticker, so please don't.
When will this be?
Tomorrow it starts at 6. And
Right
the
up
dunk,
here.
yes, right over here, so.
There'll be at least 2 of us that will hit the water. I'm one of them. Commissioner Squall is the other one. We did this last year. It was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed it. And by popular demand, we are coming back for an encore tomorrow night. Yeah, throw a ball at us. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Do we have action? Do we have action?
Yes. It's not at 8 o'clock.
What time is it?
10. Why is it always 10?
You'll revise that.